Well, hi everyone, and greetings from Northern Michigan. This is Bob the Science Guy, and today is the day. We're going to have a look at Sleeping Warrior's famous float the egg experiment. What we're going to do today is twofold. Number one, we're going to do what's called peer review, which is what we do in science to check ourselves. We're going to attempt to reproduce Anthony's experiment and see if we come up with the same results. The second thing that we're going to do is actually complete the experiment and take into account the factors that he left out. And then we're going to test those factors to see if they are actually important. The bottom line is we are going to settle the controversy between relative density and buoyancy. So, I've got my white lab coat on. Let's do some science.
Newton's first law of motion states that every object will remain at rest unless acted upon by a force, and I've obviously created a force. The density of the medium has displaced the egg. The egg moved. That's an accelerating mass. So therefore, Newton states that there is a force.
Okay, the first step in any experiment is to define the experiment. Number one, we're going to call this the egg float experiment. That's going to be its title. Our first step is to make an observation. When placed in water, a peeled hard-boiled egg floats or sinks. Pretty straightforward observation. Under what conditions are we conducting this experiment? And that's number two. First, it's going to be room temperature. Second, 1 atmosphere of pressure. And third, there is going to be a consistent downward acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared. Let's go ahead and explain Archimedes' principle in a little bit more detail because a lot of people seem to be a little confused about it. Now, first of all, say we have a glass of water here. And in that glass of water, we have an object, say an egg. Now, that object will have a mass and it'll occupy a certain volume in that fluid. And mass over volume, as you know, is density. So we would calculate the density of the egg by comparing its mass over the volume it occupies in the fluid. Now, to compare that against the density of the fluid itself, we're not looking at the density of the fluid out here. We're looking at the density of the fluid that would occupy the volume of this egg if it wasn't there. Now let's see if we can get a little better understanding of what Archimedes' principle says. Here we have a rock, courtesy of Mr. P-Brain. Now, this rock has a certain amount of volume to it, and it also has a certain amount of mass. Now, if we put the rock in a glass of water, the rock will displace some of the water. Now, the water that it displaces also has a mass. If the mass of the rock is greater than the mass of the water that it displaces, the rock will sink to the bottom. Now, if we have an object that has less mass than the volume of water that it displaces, such as this piece of styrofoam, and we place it in the water, it will float. That's Archimedes' principle. Now, relative density, as proposed by Sleeping Warrior, says basically, if the egg is heavier than the same volume of water it displaces, the egg will sink. If the egg is lighter than the same volume of water that it displaces, the egg will float. And in his experiment, what he did was he changed the density, or essentially the mass, of this volume of water by adding salt to it. Now, the next question is this all that we need?
The egg moved. That's an accelerating mass. So therefore, Newton states that there is a force. I caused it with this.
Recall that a force equals mass times acceleration. We certainly have the mass. But don't we need an acceleration as well in order for an object to have a force acting upon it and move, such as the egg rising or sinking? according to this theory of relative density as proposed by Sleeping Warrior, the answer is no. So let's go ahead first and check and see whether or not changing the density of the water seems to make any difference. Okay, let's just take a brief moment and review our experiment before we get started. This is the egg float experiment. The observation is that eggs float and sink in water. The conditions are room temperature, 1 atmosphere, and 1 gravity. Adding salt to the water will change its density. Egg will float or sink due to relative density, which is the mass of equal volumes, alone. Our independent variable will be the salt in the water, and our dependent variable will be the movement of the egg. Now, the problem that we run into is this seems rather tedious, but a lot of science is rather tedious. It's double-checking things. It's documenting stuff. So here we go. The first thing that we do is we calibrate our scales, and as you see, I've got a 500 gram reference weight on my precision scale, and it is reading 500 grams. Next, I determine the mass of the egg, and I've got 58.66 grams. Then I determine the volume of the egg, and the way that I did that was by displacement in water, and it turns out the volume of the egg is 56 cubic centimeters. And finally, I determined the baseline specific gravity using a hydrometer. Now, the first thing that I did was just did a test run with 30 grams of salt. I wanted to see how much specific gravity changed, and I wanted to see if the egg would float. So it did not float the egg. I got my specific gravity, and then I calculated that I needed about 50 grams of salt in order to get up to where I needed to be. So I cleaned out my equipment. I put 50 grams of salt and fresh water in the 750 cc bottle. I checked the specific gravity, and as you can see, it's about 1.040, and the egg floated. I then repeated the procedure with sugar. Again, approximately 50 grams of sugar. I got my specific gravity that was just a hair over 1.030, and I was able to successfully float the egg. Step 1 of the experiment is now concluded. Here are our values for the specific gravity of the water, the density of the egg, and the density of the resulting salt and sugar solutions. We were able to successfully float the egg when we increased the density of the water to exceed the density of the egg, and therefore confirmed Sleeping Warrior's results on that aspect of the experiment.
The egg moved. That's an accelerated mass. So therefore, Newton states that there is a force. I caused it with this.
You know, as much as Sleeping Warrior would like to attribute the movement of that egg solely to the difference between the mass of the egg and the mass of an equal volume of water, which he changed by haphazardly dumping salt into a glass of water, he is neglecting to take into consideration the conditions under which the experiment was conducted. Specifically, room temperature air, 1 atmosphere of pressure, and 9.8 meters per second squared of downward acceleration, which is clearly measurable and easy to obtain. It was present during the experiment. It is not a new variable. It is part of the experiment. So, in order to verify his claim that relative density is the only factor, he has to take out the effect of gravity. So let's go see how we'll do that. Now actually, taking gravity out is pretty simple up on the International Space Station. It's in free fall around the Earth. As you can tell, when astronaut Chris Hadfield squeezes out a washcloth soaked in water, the bubbles don't rise in the tube of water that results. Well, you know, I can already hear the flat Earth nonsense. Space is fake, the ISS is a sound stage, it's all CGI. So let's go ahead and do something that we can do on Earth. Many of us have cell phones that have accelerometers in them. We can actually download it and measure how the phone moves. What do you think happens when we drop one of these? Let's have a look. You see the blue line there? That is the acceleration due to gravity in this position. As the phone is dropped, you will see the acceleration of gravity go back up to 0, and then when it hits the ground, it's back down to where the blue line is now. Go ahead and watch. Here we go. So you see, when something goes into free fall, it goes into an essential state of 0 gravity. I wonder what would happen if you blew bubbles into a bottle of water and dropped it. Let's find out. Now, as you see, when the bubbles are blown in the water, they rise like we would expect the bubbles to do. But when the bottle is dropped, the bubbles stop rising. Does the density of the bubble change? Or the density of the water? No. The only difference is that when you drop the bottle, you take out the acceleration of gravity, 9.8 meters per second squared, because the bottle is falling at the same acceleration as the gravity, and the relative difference between the two is 0. Okay, the first experiment done by a sleeping warrior demonstrated that objects of different densities would move relative to each other in a glass of water, specifically water, a hard-boiled egg, and then changing the density of the water caused the egg to go up and down. We did observe that objects, when of different densities, such as water and air bubbles, when they are isolated from the acceleration of gravity, they no longer rise and fall. Now, the conditions of our experiment are going to be, once again, room temperature and 1 atmosphere of pressure. And our hypothesis is going to be that by varying the acceleration acting on the system, we can control the movements of substances of different densities to include stopping movement by stopping acceleration. Our independent variable, of course, is going to be acceleration from any source, and our dependent variable is the movement of objects of different densities. Well, folks, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and quite frankly, I've been working on this all evening. Part 1 is pretty well in the can, just a little bit more editing to go with it. Part 2 is essentially done as well. I just want to put some polishing into it, and I may incorporate some stuff from Miles Davis. So rather than try and rush this thing through tonight and put out a 25-minute video, I'm going to break it into 2 sections. This is the first one. The second one will be released in a premiere at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. The video will be out during the day on Saturday, and you'll be able to see when the premiere is. I want this done right because this is an important issue in the Flat Earth debunking community and in the Flat Earth community itself. We're going to show conclusively that relative density is superseded science. The current science is buoyancy. So, until then, this is Bob the Science Guy signing out from Northern Michigan. Hit that little like and subscribe button down there, and I'll see you all on Saturday evening. I will be live with the premiere, and we can sit down and discuss it. And by the way, Sleeping Warrior, I invite you to come by. You'll be treated well, and you'll have an opportunity to defend your findings and conclusions.